Hi, everybody, it's Ms.Salazar, and welcome to Grammar. So, today we're going to be talking about something new. We're going to be talking about pronouns and action verbs. Now, before we get into action verbs, let's talk about pronouns. So, we are going to focus on subject pronouns. Now, it replaces the subject of a sentence. Remember that the subject of a sentence is who or what the sentence talks about. For example, Molly bought a new car. So the subject of the sentence is who or what the sentence talks about. Well, that sentence is talking about Molly. So Molly is the subject of the sentence, right? But if I want to use a pronoun is going to replace Molly. It's going to replace that noun. It's going to replace the subject of the sentence. That's why we use pronouns. So remember, we use pronouns to replace the subject of the sentence. So if I want to replace the name Molly, I would use the pronoun she. She bought a new car, and I'm referring to Molly. Now we have a bunch of different subject pronouns. For example, I, you, he, she, it when I'm talking about an object, they, and we. Now let's see. If I use the subject pronoun I in a sentence, Mandy thinks that sugar is bad. So if I want to use a subject pronoun to replace Mandy, and Mandy is the subject of the sentence, I'm talking about Mandy. So if I want to use the pronoun I to replace Mandy, this is how the sentence would look like. I think that sugar is bad. You see? I think that sugar is bad. If I want to use the subject pronoun you think that sugar is bad. Or if I want to use the subject pronoun he thinks that sugar is bad. If I want to use she thinks that sugar is bad. What about it? It is bad for you. It is bad for you. Now I'm not talking about Mandy. Now I'm talking about sugar. It is talking about sugar. Okay? It is bad for you. Sugar is bad for you. And we think it is bad for you. So we think that sugar is bad for you. So not only am I using we to substitute Mandy, I'm also using it. You see? This is hidden. I'm also using it to substitute sugar. So we think sugar is bad for you. We think it is bad for you. And they think it is bad for you. I'm also doing it right here. So they is substituting Mandy. Instead of saying Mandy thinks that sugar is bad for you, I can say they think that sugar is bad for you. But if I don't want to say the word sugar, I could also just refer to sugar as it, right? Because sugar is not a person. I can refer to it as it. So they think it is bad for you. So subject pronouns. So you guys have this video in LMS. This video talks about subject pronouns and object pronouns. And we will be talking about object pronouns soon. But what I want you guys to do is that I want you guys to watch the video, and when the video finishes explaining this, once you see this in the video, then I want you to stop, because after this it's going to start talking about object pronouns. Now if I go back, remember what I did here, that I substituted the word sugar with it, right? So that's sort of like an introduction to object pronouns, okay? But just remember, the subject of a sentence is who or what the sentence is talking about. So if I want to substitute the subject of a sentence, I can just use a pronoun. That's it. It's pretty simple. And the subject of a sentence is almost always going to be at the beginning of a sentence. So just by looking at this picture right here, it says Kevin is a boy. So instead of saying the name Kevin, I could just use the pronoun he, right? He is a boy, right? Kevin likes to swim. He likes to swim. So that is what the video is going to talk about. Let's see. I'm going to show you guys the next slide. There you go. Now, action verbs. Oh, this one's fun. So, an action verb is a word that expresses action, either physical or mental, right? It could be physical or mental action. Now, let's see. An action verb explains what the subject of the sentence is doing or has done. For example, I love to run in the mornings. I love to run in the mornings. So run, that is an action verb, right? It's a physical action verb, something that you physically do. Another example, you like to swim in the mornings. Swim, that's another action verb, right? And it's physical. Swim, run, walk, all of those things. Those are action verbs. So remember that an action verb, it's just going to explain what the subject of the sentence is doing. So you like to swim, right? I like to run. Let's see, we have other examples of action verbs. We have tons of action verbs, tons. We got jump. For example, if I use this in a sentence, I like to jump from high places. We have cook. We like to cook as a family. Think, think. This is a verb. It is an action verb, but it's mental, right? He thinks that that book is amazing. So this is an action verb, but it's mental, right? It's not physical. Walk. Would you please walk with me? So all of these are action verbs. Some of them are physical and some of them are mental. Now you guys have this video in LMS. I want you guys to take a look at this. It's going to show you a few action words, 20 of them actually. Let's see, I'm going to show you guys your assessment. There you go. So this is going to be page 61, and it says subject pronouns. So the subject of a sentence names the person or thing that does the action. A pronoun can take the place of this noun. For example, Greg is sick at home. So the subject is Greg because I'm talking about Greg, right? And if I don't want to use the name Greg, if I want to use a pronoun, I would use he because Greg is a boy. So I would use the pronoun he. He is sick at home. So let's see. It says here, write the pronoun that can take the place of the underlined subject. Use the words in the word bank to help you. So you have the words right here in the word bank. It doesn't show you everything. It doesn't show you all of the subject pronouns, only a few of them. So we've got he, she, it, and they. There you go. And we got 5 sentences. So you see that every sentence has something that is underlined. So what is underlined is the subject of the sentence, right? So let's see. Let's do number 1. Marissa has an idea for a project. Marissa has an idea for a project. So if I don't want to use the name Marissa, what kind of pronoun can I use? Well, it's not going to be he because Marissa is a girl, right? She. She has an idea for a project. Yeah, this works. Marissa is a girl. She is referring to a girl and it's referring only to one person, right? Marissa is only one person. So I would use she. She has an idea for a project, and then I would write that pronoun here in the blank space. I'm not going to use it because it is used when you're talking about an object. Marissa is not an object, she's a human being. And I'm not going to use they. I'm not going to use they. They is talking about a group of people. Marissa is only one person, right? She's only one person and she's a girl, so I'm going to use she. Number 2, the students paint a mural. The students, okay, so students. So that's more than one, right? That's a group of people. And that's a group of people. So I'm going to use what? I'm not going to use it. This is about an object. I'm not going to use she or he because these are for only one people and it says students. You see how it ends in an S? So that means that it's plural. So I'm going to use they. They is more than one person. It's about a group of people. It's plural. So they paint a mural. The students paint a mural. They paint a mural. Number 3, Mr. Stevens gives the students paint and brushes. Mr. Stevens gives the students paint and brushes. So the subject of the sentence is Mr. Stevens. That is who I'm talking about. Mr. Stevens. Okay, so that's one person. And because it has MR at the beginning, Mr., I know that it's a boy, right? So I'm going to use what? What pronoun? I'm going to use he. He gives the students paint and brushes. Number 4, the mural makes everyone smile. The mural. Okay, so mural, is that a person or is that an object? It's an object, right? So if it's an object, I'm going to use a pronoun that is about objects. And looking at the pronouns that I have here in the word bank, which one is about objects? Ding, ding, ding. It's going to be this one, it. So I'm going to use this pronoun. It makes everyone smile. It is substituting the mural. It makes everyone smile. And then the last one, Marissa and her friends did a great job. So now we're talking about Marissa, but we're also talking about her friends. You see how friends ends in S? That means that it's plural, so it's more than one person. So all of this is a lot of people, right? It's not just one person that I'm talking about. The sentence is talking about multiple people. So what pronoun talks about multiple people? It's going to be they. They did a great job. They is about a group of people. So number 5, the pronoun is they. So that's going to be page 61. And then the last page is going to be page 71. And it says action verbs. So a verb names an action that someone or something does or did. For example, the rocket moves fast. The rocket moves fast. So moves is definitely going to be the action verb. So let's see. We have 1 all the way to 10. So we have 10 sentences, and it says underline the verb in each sentence. So you're going to underline the verb in each sentence. Number 1, astronauts climb on board. So what is the action in that sentence? Climb, climb. That's an action verb, right? So number 1, climb. Number 2, the engines start with a roar. The engines start with a roar. Let's see. What do you think? I'm going to leave this one to you. Let's see. Number 3. The excited crowd cheers loudly. The excited crowd cheers loudly. So what is the verb in that sentence? What is the action verb in that sentence? Cheers. Cheers. Right? Cheers is when everybody gets up and starts screaming and yelling. So the excited crowd cheers loudly. Number 4, the countdown begins. What's the action verb in that sentence? The countdown begins. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the countdown. And what am I saying? Well, that it begins, right? So what is the action verb in that sentence? I'm going to leave number 4 to you. Number 5, scientists watch carefully. Scientists watch carefully. So what is the action verb in that sentence? It's going to be watch. Watch. Number 6, the moment finally arrives. The moment finally arrives. Okay, so the subject of that sentence, what am I talking about? Well, it seems that I'm talking about a moment. I'm not sure what moment, but I'm talking about the moment, right? And what am I saying? That the moment finally arrives. So what is the action verb in that sentence? Is it going to be finally or is it going to be arrives? Let's see. I'm going to leave that one to you. Number 7, the spacecraft blasted into the sky. So what is the action verb in that sentence? I'm talking about the spacecraft, right? That's the subject of my sentence. But what is the action verb? Is it going to be blast? Is it going to be into, the, or sky? Let's see. So it's going to be blast. Number 7, that is your action verb. Number 8, reporters take pictures of the big event. Reporters take pictures of the big event. What is my action verb in that sentence? Reporters, okay, those are people, take pictures of the big event. Let's see, what's my action verb? I'm going to leave that one to you. Number 9, the rocket disappears above the clouds. The rocket disappears above the clouds. So I'm definitely talking about the rocket. That is the subject of my sentence. And what am I saying about the rocket? That it disappears. Where does it disappear to? Above the clouds, right? But above the clouds, that's not an action verb. It's not giving me any action. No, it's going to be disappears. Disappears. So number 9, disappears is going to be your action verb. And then number 10, everyone drives home from the launch site. Everyone drives home from the launch site. Okay, so what is the action verb in my sentence? Everyone, okay, those are people, drives, home, home is an object, from the launch site. Launch site. Launch site. That's kind of like think of the site where rockets are like where rockets are placed, right? And then when they take off, that's going to be the launch site. So this is a place. This is a place. My action verb is going to be where. I'm going to leave this one to you. So that's going to be your assessment. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, let me know. The due date, you have until the 9th to turn this in. You're going to turn this into LMS and PDF, and it is worth 10 points. So again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Bye, everybody.